So I wasn't going to make a sequel to my Hunger Games video this soon, if at all, but I was looking through the comments on the video and a few people asked for a follow-up. I, of course, am a man of the people I aim to please, and so it is my absolute honour, privilege and delight to present to you all the second Stardew Valley Hunger Games event featuring Lewis versus Kent. And Kent. And Kent. And Kent. And Kent. And Kent. Yeah, there's 23 Kents. Lewis has to pay for the way he treats Marnie. The horn sounds to signal the beginning of the game and Kent runs away from the cornucopia. Let's check in on the other 22 Kents. Kent has severely injured Kent, eliminating Kent from the game. Kent breaks Kent's nose for a basket of bread. See, what I'm wondering is what kind of bread was in the basket? If it was just plain old white bread, then I would say that action was not worth the effort. But if we're talking wholemeal bread full of nutrients, then I don't just approve of this action. I actively support it. Kent scares Kent away from the cornucopia. Honestly, this is starting to feel like an episode of Black Mirror. Or maybe it's nothing like Black Mirror. I don't know. I've never seen a single episode of the show. I don't know why I said that. Kent eliminates Kent with a tree branch while Kent strangles Kent with a rope. Meanwhile, Lewis grabs a sword. I'm starting to get a bit concerned here. So far, Lewis is the only person who has armed himself with a proper weapon. Let's see how the Kents react to this. Kent chases Kent. That's not good. Kent has actually found a proper weapon but has decided to use it on Kent. That is also not good. I'm getting nervous now. Meanwhile, Lewis practices his archery. There's no way this is happening right now. There's no way Lewis is actually going to survive the first day. This is impossible. What? Kent, and Kent successfully ambush and eliminate Kent, and Kent. I am tremendously confused by this whole Kent kerfuffle. The Kent civil war rages on as Kent finds and eliminates Kent simply because Kent was making too much noise. This happened not just once, but twice and at the exact same time. Lewis searches for a water source. So just to recap what has happened here. The Kents have decided to fight each other while Lewis has armed himself with a sword, improved his archery skills and is now searching for water, which is one of, if not the most important resources available to the people in this game. But still, it is Lewis versus about 18 or so Kents at this point. Surely there's no way that Lewis will actually be able to survive and win this game. No, wait, he actually did it. He actually won the game. He survived. Okay. Bye. Right, so I have just been notified by my manager, aka my mother, that this video is too short. So I have made the executive decision to retcon that entire previous game. Boom, non-factor, it never happened. Lewis never won. From this moment on, there has only been one Stardew Valley Hunger Games event. Let's do this properly this time. I saw a few people asking about including characters from Stardew Valley mods in this video, so I did my best to do so. From the Downtown Zuzu City mod, we have Cal, David, Gwen, Kristoff, Sadie, and Selena. I have two confessions to make. Number one, I have never played this mod, so I do not know who any of these characters are. Number two, I have fallen in love with Gwen. I want her to be mine. I want her to tuck me in at night and read me a bedtime story. From the Stardew Valley Expanded mod, we have Olivia and Sophia. Once again, I have fallen in love with these two sensational women. The rest of the participants in the second ever Stardew Valley Hunger Games are the villagers in Vanilla Stardew that I did not include in the original video. Some notable inclusions are Gunther, or Gunther. I still do not know how to pronounce his name, so I have renamed him to Walter. That's his canon name now. We also have Marion. Now I know what you're thinking. Isn't his name Marlon? No, it isn't. You see, when Concerned Ape was writing down Marion's name, he accidentally hit the caps lock key halfway through his name, and a capital I looks like an L, and he didn't notice his mistake, so everybody thinks the lad's name is Marlon, but it's actually Marion. Anyway, the horn sounds and the game begins. George runs away from the cornucopia. I don't think runs is the right verb to use here, but that's not really important. Sadie, quickly establishing herself as a bit of a mischievous delinquent, finds and robs a backpack full of equipment. And, well, the dwarf has overpowered Clint and eliminated him. I'm sure that has made a lot of people happy. It made me happy. A good few people decide to run away from the cornucopia. Well, actually a lot of people run away from it. Gwen decides to break Emily's nose for a basket of bread. I know there's a lot of Emily lovers out there, so Gwen has probably become the villain in a lot of people's eyes, but she is my future wife, so please be nice to her or I will have to get involved. We'll check in with some of our other participants. Kent tries to sleep through the entire day. This is a man with priorities. Kent does not care about the game. He cares about his beauty sleep. Sadie searches for a water source while Cal discovers a river and Olivia goes fishing. I don't know why, but for some reason when I read this, I imagined Sadie searching for a water source while she was literally right beside Cal and Olivia. She just didn't notice the river right in front of her. Meanwhile, the governor overhears Gwen and Shane conversing in the distance. Gwen and Shane being close just makes sense. They both give off the same kind of vibe. Hold on a minute, that's my wife Shane is talking to. I'll handle him after this game is over, don't you worry. Elliot and Robin hunt for other tributes. Again, this team just makes sense. It's probably because I want both of them to hold my hand while we go frolicking in some fields together. Linus eliminates George while he is resting. Linus is a savage. I didn't realise it until now, but Linus is built for this game. This dude has spent most of his life living among nature. If Linus doesn't win, then some absolute tomfoolery has occurred. Acidic rain has begun to pour down on the arena, and unfortunately... it's not funny. And unfortunately, Leah trips face first into a puddle of acidic rain. What a clumsy critter. David and Walter are both eliminated when Walter pulls David into a pond filled with acidic rain. Mr. QI has officially become the antagonist of this video. He has eliminated Linus. Whoever eliminates Mr. QI is officially the Stardew Valley savior. I'm hesitant to announce this next one because it's going to upset some people. Sadie has sort of eliminated Emily. She didn't directly eliminate her, but Sadie refusing to help Emily is what caused it. Emily just can't catch a break. These Zuzu City villagers really don't like her at all. Like, first Gwen broke her nose for some bread and now Sadie refused to help her. I feel bad for Emily. Kent and Olivia are eliminated. I don't really care, to be honest. These two didn't really do much during this event. And Kent lost at 23 versus... Actually, wait, no, hold on. Kent did not lose a 23 versus 1 Hunger Games event a few minutes ago. That was retconned. It never happened, my bad. The dwarf has tripped and fallen face first into a pool of acidic acid. Acidic rain, not acidic acid. The dwarf has been eliminated. I'm slowly getting upset the more this whole acid rain thing goes on. I want it to end. I'm sick of this. I now officially hate the governor. That's all I have to say about this right now. My day is completely ruined. Elliot trips face first into a pool of acidic rain. This acidic rain has eliminated like 10 different villagers, man. It's making my videos so much shorter. I finally have good news. Not just good news, in fact, it is exquisite news. Sophia survived the acidic rain. I'm happy again. Now I can really enjoy this event. 11 villagers in total were eliminated during the first day. The Zuzu City villagers are actually doing really well. 4 out of the 6 of them are still in the game. I might have to check out that downtown Zuzu City mod after this video. The villagers actually look pretty cool. The rest of the remaining players aren't a surprise to me at all. Except Sophia. If you play the Stardew Valley Expanded mod, then you probably understand why her still being here is surprising. But I'm not complaining at all. In fact, I hope she wins. Right, okay, Sophia is officially a certified menace. Sophia convinces Shane not to eliminate her. She then turns around and eliminates Shane. Bro, who is this woman and what does she do with the real Sophia? Sophia is acting like a scoundrel. I love it. I love her. Mr. QI and Kristoff hold hands. That's lovely. The governor, Cal, Selena and Robin all tell ghost stories. My knee really hurts, I don't know what's wrong with it. We get a bit of insight into who the fan favourites of this event are, as Sophia and the wizard both receive supplies and weapons. Robin has dipped. She has bounced. She is outski. Yeah, she asked Sadie to eliminate her. Selena is picking flowers. You know what? I strive to be like Selena. In the face of danger, of trials and tribulations, of hardship and torment, she has decided to do some gardening. I like that. Marion and the wizard tell stories about themselves to each other. I really, really want to hear that conversation. Could you even imagine how interesting those stories would be? I feel like there was a bit of a missed opportunity in terms of having Marion and the wizard interact with each other in Stardew Valley. Although if I remember correctly, they do interact with each other in Stardew Valley Expanded, I think. I know for a fact Walter and Marion interact, but I'm not entirely sure about the wizard and Marion. I've just realised that entire sentence was really confusing because I changed Gunther's name to Walter and Marion's name to Marion. Anyway, we return to Selena, who is humming to herself. This woman is on a whole different level of relaxed. If the phrase, "it is what it is," was a person, it would be Selena. Cal is unable to convince Sophia to let him live. I think it's safe to say that Sophia has taken Abigail's place as the menace of the Stardew Valley Hunger Games. I'm officially hopping on the Sophia bandwagon. I want her to win so bad. The governor and Selena attack Mr. QI. Mr. QI eliminates both of them. You see, Selena was doing well until she decided to actually care about winning the game. I've been saying this for a while now. If you do not try, then you will succeed, and this is proof of that. Stop putting effort into anything and everything. Okay, that's actually horrible advice. Please don't do that. The wizard eliminates Kristoff and Sadie. Why would you fight a wizard? Seriously, that would be like me going up to Voldemort and slapping him in the face and expecting him to do nothing. It's just not a good idea. We are officially down to the final four. Mr. QI, the wizard, Marion, and Sophia. There is one person here sticking out like a sore thumb. Somebody who everybody did not think would make it this far. I am, of course, talking about the wizard. Marion is pricked by thorns while picking berries. I'm pretty sure this is his biggest injury so far, so that kind of says a lot about how good he has been in this event. Our final four seems to be relaxing for the moment. The wizard has climbed a tree and is getting some rest. Marion is tending to Mr. QI's wounds, and Sophia has made herself some food. Marion defeats Sophia in a fight, but thankfully he lets her live. I appreciate that, Marion. You're a good man. I will always be grateful for what you just did. Mr. QI and Marion have decided to cuddle together. They say it's for warmth, but there has been multiple fires lit during this event, and I'm pretty sure Marion lit one of them, so it sounds to me like they just wanted to cuddle. I don't blame them. In fact, I would do the exact same thing, but I wouldn't hide it. I would just be like, yeah, who wants to cuddle with me? I want to cuddle, please. Mr. QI... I'm not reading that. So we are down to the final three as a result of what just happened. Mr. QI shoots an arrow at Marion but misses and eliminates the wizard. We are down to two villagers, Mr. QI and Marion. Now, in the original Hunger Games video, I really hyped up the final battle between the last two players, which turned out to be a massive mistake because the ending was really anticlimactic. But I have a good feeling about this one. Deep down in my heart and soul, I know that we are about to see a grueling, exhausting, vicious, and quite frankly, mesmerizing display of complete unscripted violence. Marion versus Mr. QI. Hero versus villain. It is time for the final battle. So, yeah, it happened again. Mr. QI had an infection, and this infection eliminated him. Marion wins.